on inside me's different. Woke up a little off today, I can tell that something's wrong. I'm a little thrown off today, there's something going on inside me. I'm a little bit off today, a little bit off today. I'm a little bit off today, a little bit off. See, I'm a little bit off today, I cannot put my finger on it. Got up a little off today, just to play that same old song. I don't really want to try today, I see nothing in my reflection. I'm a little bit dry today, I feel like I could die today. I'm a little bit off today, I feel like I could die today.
How's it going, YouTube? It's been a while, man. I don't know. I can't remember the last time I did a video. Well, this video is going to be a little bit different today. It's not going to be about politics and all that. It's going to be more about me. Yeah, and I'm going to warn people that I'm not going to reply to negative comments if people are going to make them. So I've seen people just troll through my freaking videos and just talk shit, and it's like, shut the fuck up, dude. Seriously. Got nothing better to talk about. Go judge somebody else. Excuse my language. I'm going to try to keep this PG. So, as much as I can. Certain details might go R. Who knows? Yeah, so, interesting things to happen today. Just found out some of the plaque on my tooth just wore off. It's like that on most of... It's like that down here too. It's the yellow stuff around your tooth that people don't realize if they don't brush their teeth at night or floss good enough, they get tartar that gets stuck in between their teeth, and it depends on how long it's on there. I had it only on here for a couple of months, so it's not really that bad. I haven't seen that much bleeding. I'm planning to get it cleaned, hopefully. Yeah, so keep in mind, take care of yourself. That's kind of what this is about with coming on with what I'm going to be talking about. So this is about my life beginning to the end. Weird journey, man. Let's start with where I was born, because I never really talked about that. You guys have just kind of seen YouTube videos of me, and I've talked about other things, but I've never really talked about myself. Actually, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't, because I know how people are. I don't know. Well, it's kind of obvious. I was born in Portland, so it doesn't really matter. Who's going to give a shit? I apologize. I'm not doing that on purpose. I'm trying to keep this burrito from falling apart because it can make a huge mess, so... I apologize if I'm getting a little gross with my food. Excuse me, guys. Not very good manners of me. I'm sorry. Oh, man. Let's start with, yada yada. I was born in Portland, Oregon. Lived in Oregon for a while in Newburgh. Moved from Newburgh to Arizona. My mom and dad obviously started out. Everything was great. Lived in Arizona for 5 years. I went to 2 different schools. Because of issues I had, I found out that I had some learning disabilities that I didn't know of. So I kind of overcome those now. So I'm more interested in it than I was then. I was focused on other things at the time. I didn't even really want an education. And honestly, I kind of surprised that I got into it the way I did. Most people like me with the disability I have, that's kind of hard to get into mainstream out of. I never really did, but Yeah, it was interesting. Had this one kid that, that's the first time, yeah, this is kind of the first time that I knew that there was going to be more of this as I grew up. First time ever bullied in elementary school. And this is when I knew that the world, it wasn't going to stop. Not even close. As a matter of fact, it happened somewhat today. It's been happening my whole life, and I'm just kind of going, whatever. Do you? Damn. Sorry, guys. This thing is a huge mess. I apologize. I'm having to talk because I don't really have a lot of time to eat, so. So yeah, lived in Arizona for 5 years, and I had somebody bully me. I don't even really remember what it was about, but he was kind of cool at first because he's the one that told me about the first Godzilla movie. If you guys remember the movie from 1996, Godzilla's Matthew Broderick and Jean Reno and blah, blah, blah. Great movie up to the time I was, popular when I was growing up. Can't believe I could say that now because I used to not. 10 years ago, I never would have said that. It's been a long time. Like, I'm almost 30 now, so. Had some problems. Got removed from third grade class, mainstreamed into some other class. It was weird. I don't really remember much. It was some sort of SLC class. I remember they had this award thing in certain areas. They had baseball cards. You know, stuff that was in the 90s that was popular before the shit that came out now. Anyway, just kidding. It's all right. So, yeah. And if it was like good behavior, like if you were good and you were calm and you didn't give problems to other students and you did your work, that you would get rewarded every weekend or every Friday before you went home. And I remember what would happen if you didn't. This was back when they could put hands on you. They're not allowed to do that now in school. Yeah, let's just say I didn't have some great experiences, guys. People talk about like, yeah, you didn't have it that bad. Dude, you shut up. You don't know me. You don't know what I went through. Oh, shut your fucking mouth. Seriously, I'm tired of people telling me they think that I've had it easy. You don't know what the hell I've been through. You don't know what I've had easy. Shut your mouth. I'm so tired of hearing that. I heard that ever since I've been growing up, and honestly, I'm not going to keep my mouth shut about it anymore. If you don't know me, don't judge me. Seriously. I'm not going to judge you because I don't give a reason. Like, show the same respect. I mean, now I see why this is speaking of in the Bible, dude, because I think God, he expects people to have respect for each other, to love each other, not to sit there and go, oh, I'm better than you. What is this? It's grade school shit, man. You ever think about that? That tribulation, the way people are going to act like a bunch of fourth graders trying to take over the playground. I'm serious, dude. It's not even a joke. Like, not, like, I used to grow up, dude, and people used to talk. Dude, I remember in elementary school, the first time I heard about the devil. This is when I actually got real. And I'm hearing about this now. Everybody's like, it's not really a joke anymore, man. We're getting closer to those times. I used to hear it all the time. I'm going to be the Antichrist when I grow up. Oh, I can't wait to... I'm like, whose parents are teaching these kids this shit? I'm like 5, 6 years old hearing this growing up, and I'm like, did I miss something? Like, what the hell? People thought that... You guys thought that our generation does this? No, dude, this has been going back for a lot. This probably goes back to like the 50s, man. Talking about this forever. Yeah, and I didn't really understood what it meant. I didn't know anything of that back then, what any of that meant. So it's kind of a weird time. I was like, yeah, whatever. I was like, oh, food, candy, yeah, yummy, growing up. And then I moved from Arizona because I found out this was 1998. I found out that my dad got a job in Oregon, so we had to move. And yeah, long ass trip. And basically, I ended up going to this school in Hillsboro. Didn't go so well. Had to be restrained and stuff down there. I don't really understand why they had to use physical force. I never will. Kind of just makes you wonder. This is like when people tell me, when I hear this stuff on the internet about, oh, they're going to manhandle you, the government. Yeah, guys, no offense. Nothing I've never went through already. I've been beaten. I've been grabbed. The only thing I haven't been yet is raped. So that's strike one. Yeah, hopefully that'll never happen. Anyway, I don't know. They do some I've seen some pretty wicked shit that happens and read about in Tribulation, man. So, and that's supposedly supposed to happen. I don't even know. 7 years of tribulation is supposed to happen sometime in the 2040, 50 maybe. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to get off subject. I can talk all day about that. It's kind of annoying, though. People will get tired of hearing that. They're like, yeah, dude, just get to the point. So, moved out there. Didn't go so well. Like I said, it's not the first time. And I mean manhandled, like female teachers would grab me and restrain me down, dude, to where I couldn't move. It's like, this is messed up. And I thought about this when I was young, and I thought about what would happen probably to people in general. Then I thought about what happened with Jesus. And I was like, man, I don't have it that bad. You guys sometimes put yourself in a terrible situation and then realize what somebody else went through and then go, okay, maybe I'm not the only person that went through this. Well, I've went through so much abuse, man. Oh, this is going to be a long video, guys. I hope you're ready. There may even be a part 2. So yeah, me and my sister and my brother, we got along. It was fun. I forgot to mention all the details. This place I lived in Arizona had a swimming pool, backyard. I lived there for 5 years. Yeah, it was weird. First time I ever got stung, too. I was playing by a slide, and I was like, ooh, what's that? Ow, what the heck? Went and cried. Didn't know what the hell that was. And they were like, that's a bee. You need to stay away from this. And I was like, okay. Yep. Then I had my next bee encounter later on in 1999 when I moved to Hillsboro. Yeah. Newburgh was fun. I forgot to mention that. That was 92 to 93. 94 is when we moved to Arizona. I had a train thing that was right out my window. It's why I'm so fascinated with trains. People were like, man, what is it with you and trains? I don't talk about that enough. Yeah, I've had a huge fascination in trains growing up. I had so many model trains, it wasn't even funny. When I was growing up, I'd put my head out the window too, because I remember this, and I'd hear a train go by. Then I'd kind of fall back down to my crib because it would get too loud to the point where I didn't want to look. Yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it, rock concerts aren't the only thing that probably messed up my hearing. Hearing that loud-ass horn at freaking 3 years old, man, probably did something damage to my hearing. I don't know. Those were loud, man. I'm not even joking, dude. That train, my house was here. Train tracks were here. It was only like 5, maybe 10, 15, 20 feet. Not joking, dude. It was loud. You could see the headlights and you could hear the vibration in the house. I'm like, holy crap. Anyway, so back to what I was talking about. Back to Arizona. We left Arizona. Things were weird. I mean, I had a lot of things that I guess I need to, you know what, I kind of need to go back to Arizona because there's a lot I left out. So much. I had family that lived down there for a while, and she still does. Susan, my mom's brother Brian, my mom's dad, which was my grandpa who had died from cancer in 1996, I believe it was. I don't remember. Fuck, it's been so long. Maybe 97, I can't remember. Or all I know is that, yeah, it was probably 97 because Titanic, it came out in 96, and the music soundtrack for that was played at my grandpa's funeral. So, interesting time. It's been so much. There's so much to talk about. I'm trying to remember it all. My Aunt Susan lived way the fuck out somewhere in Tempe, the suburbs, man. It was hot as hell. The houses were made of concrete. I'll never understand that. It's kind of like some German suburb. I guess Arizona kind of stole the idea from Germany, if you want to put it that way. But you guys have to go down to Arizona to like Tempe to know. I've been to Grand Canyon, Tortilla Flats originally before it burned down. It was a great place. That's probably one of where my obsession with Mexican food came into play. Yeah, it's kind of sad how I never really went back. I do need to go back. I don't know if I ever will. I'm not going alone, man. If I ever meet a female, maybe. I don't know if that's ever going to fucking happen, dude, because I feel like I'm the one that has to do everything, and I'm terrible at communication, so I tend to offend people, so it's like, it can't hurt for people to come say fucking hi to me every once in a while. Even if it's a complete stranger, you know, you can still see how they're doing, because you never know, they could be a serial killer the next day because they weren't recognized. People feel like they're not existent. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. So yeah, went up there for the past 5 Christmases. It was weird, man. First Christmas, man. First Christmas was 1994, the year my brother was born. I had asked for a tower crane set. In case people don't know what that is, it's those big-ass tower crane things you see in Portland. Wouldn't be the first time a tower crane had fell over in real life in a construction site. Well, that had happened with mine. Yeah. I guess realistically, toy tower cranes models can do the same fucking thing. Excuse my language. That pissed me off, man. I had that happen twice to me that year. Oh man, that made me mad. The second one, this is when I started realizing I had my dad's anger. I had taken the tower crane, and I was 3 years old, man. I was skinny, man, but I could pick shit up. And I threw it across the room, dude. We're talking like 15 feet. I was like, what the hell? First time that I knew. This is kind of when I knew I was going to have problems in school. Yeah. I kind of got into some trouble, started cursing it. First time I called a kid a butt slide, whatever the fuck that means. I remember calling a teacher a douchebag. We'll get later onto that. That doesn't come till later. So, yeah, it was fun. I just kind of got tired of it. It was irritating with the whole Christmas thing. And I got tired of hearing my dad and my mom argue all the time. Also, the same year that I got potty trained, and shortly a year after that, me and my sister decided to get into the cupboard because we thought we were going to find some chocolate or maybe candy in there. Oh, yeah, we did, but it wasn't exactly chocolate. It was X-Lax. Hey, Lloyd, I hope you like it. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of Dumb and Dumber. But yeah, I didn't have a great time with that. I thought it was over one day. I walked into my room and holy crap, I'm standing in my own puddle of what you call shit. So, not a great time. And you know what? I may be probably the reason why I have IBS. They said some of the medicines back in the 90s could cause IBS when you get older. Hey man, go figure. I don't even know. So, I'm not the only one that has these issues. My sister kind of does too, but she doesn't talk about it. It's embarrassing. Don't we all? Anyway. That was not fun. That was my grandma. She came back from a trip and... I don't know why the fuck she left that in there. Excuse my language. And my brother was just born, so he doesn't really remember it. And that kind of makes sense why he wouldn't. Yeah, everything was fine after that. Then we had another Christmas. I don't know why. For one year it was construction, trains. I also got a train too. The tower crane, I don't know what happened. It lost stability and I guess fell over and it just broke. And I was like, okay. Drove my dad nuts because I wouldn't leave it alone for about 3 weeks. Yes, I would get the tower crane. We just shut the hell up. No, I'm joking. It wasn't like that. It was like, no. There was more patience than that. I'm just playing. What got really... Oh, yeah. I left a lot out. There was my mom's friend Jackie and her son. We'll get to that later. Rest in peace, Tyler. I hope you're listening, man. No trash talk, I swear. Yeah, good friend of mine, and really shouldn't have went out the way he did, and it was really sad. I bawled my fucking eyes out. He was like my childhood friend, dude. He was like my other half. He's the type of kid that would have came up if you had problems at school. He would have stepped in and whooped your ass. I'm not even joking. Like, this kid he didn't take shit, dude. I don't know what happened. I mean, I don't know what it was. I mean, maybe moving away caused problems. I mean, he did like hanging out with me, and maybe me moving away kind of fucked things up. I don't know. And it was just problems after that too. It was a lot of things. It wasn't just me moving away. It was several things. I'm not going to get into it because it's not my business to get out. But anyway, back to the story. I'll talk about that later because that comes in later. Kind of ties into the whole Brian scenario. So we used to go swimming in different public pools every year, and this is kind of where I met Misty, and this is kind of where Jackie and Tyler came into play. Jackie used to spoil the hell out of me with candy. It's probably the reason I have problems with candy and why I'm so addicted to it. Thank you, Jackie. If you're watching this, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Love you. So, I don't know. Yeah, there was a bunch of my mom's brother was going to high school at the time, and he was in a marching band, so we were going around, and he was also in he took swim lessons and stuff, so we'd go watch him, and yeah, that's kind of where I met Misty, and yeah, I don't know, I hope they're doing well. I imagine her son is probably about 22 now, or 21. No, probably about 25, 26, because he was just a baby when I met Misty and her son, but he was just born, so I didn't really know him at the time. And then her friend Jackie, which is, I guess my mom and them go way back, especially with Misty. My mom still remembers Misty. It's funny. Yeah, that's kind of where I met Tyler. We got into a lot of... We had some funny times, man. I remember the time that we put on boxing gloves. That was not... Or the time that... I don't know what we were doing. All I remember is this one memory where we would take this hockey stick and we put it up in the middle of the wall. I don't know what we were doing. We'd put a blanket over it. I don't remember. It was so weird. If I remember right, we were pretending to be like going through a car wash or something. I don't know, because he had like some sort of truck, you know, those old toy trucks that you would get that you could literally go and sit inside and pedal, or they used to be able to pedal, or you could just move your feet and move them forward. Yeah, those type of cars. May I add, this is the first time those toy cars ever came out. If I remember right, they had an orange hood, yellow, or sometimes black doors that came out, plastic doors. Sometimes you actually put water in them to keep the weight down so they wouldn't fall over as easily. We beat those things to shit. We played around with them so much, I think we actually put a dent in the sheetrock at one point. I remember I was like 4 years old. I remember Tyler's mom getting pissed. Tyler, get in here! What the hell did you do? And he's like... There was another time, yeah. Talk about something seen out of a horror movie, only with candy. So, there's another time we were playing in the backyard, and I did t-ball, soccer, and something else at the time. I can't remember. I tried out for basketball. That didn't go so well. Tried karate. Yeah. My disability kind of got in the way of a lot of those things and issues. Karate, I really want to retry again because I feel like I could do it. Having autism, dude, and having hearing sensitivity sucks. So, that's what happened to me. Those kids that you see on the bus that like cover their ears, they're like autistic. That was me at that time. I didn't like loud noises. I still don't sometimes. So, yeah, I absolutely didn't. I remember at one point in Arizona before we left, we go into assemblies, and I remember covering my ears, and I remember kids trying to uncover my ears. It was so rude, man. It's like, and I remember one kid sticking up for me going, "Can't you guys see that he has issues with hearing? Leave him alone." And I was like, wow, somebody actually stood up for me at that time. Yeah, I don't remember most of the people in Arizona. I imagine most of the teachers that have taught me definitely retired long ago. We're talking like 15 years ago. Some of them I became close friends with. I'll get to that later. That probably will be in part 2. So, anyway, back to the saga of leaving Arizona. Our time was up there. My dad was getting a job. I had moved. Had good childhood friends there, but we had to leave it all behind because of some bullshit. This kind of led to divorce later on. Yeah. Yikes. There's a lot of other things besides that, but let's just get to... I had moved to Hillsboro, and I don't know. I met a lot of people there. We lived in the suburbs. I don't even know. It was a nice house, but it's changed so much I don't recognize that neighborhood anymore, to be honest. The other part, you go down Cornelius Pass, you go past Brown Middle School, you take a right, then you go all the way down the road, past 3 blocks, or 2 blocks I think it is, and then you take another right, and then you take a left, and you go down the street, and there's this cul-de-sac, and there's a bunch of houses. There's all these trees that, man, they're huge now. They used to be so small when I went there in 2014. So yeah, that's where kind of my childhood took off. It's great, man. I had everything I wanted. Till that divorce really just kind of made my life really go downhill in a not a great, positive type of fucking way. Yeah. We lived in Hillsboro. I think it's probably part of the reason that I had no communication. I used to be able to talk to people so easily, and now I really can't anymore. I think it's just experiences and conflicts I've gotten into with it, regardless if it's females, people in general. I don't know. You know, having autism the way you do, it just kind of, it's like self-delirium post-trauma. You kind of hold on to stuff that you can't let go of. Hold on a minute. Yeah, so then like I said, I moved to Hillsboro. I had a music teacher at that time for therapy. It was weird, and I had this tape recorder. You all remember the tape recorders that had the little 8-track tape you can put in it and had fun with those. Moved to Hillsboro. I kind of got to my little personality stage where I got on everybody's nerves at that time. If anybody had seen my videos in the past, I talked about some of that. Personality kind of got on people's nerves, especially my dad's. There wasn't a time that he wouldn't come home and hear about me doing some stupid shit. Regardless, it was breaking the neighbor's windshield by accident by playing baseball with one of his friends, or falling down and cutting his knee open, and then my dad going, "Oh, jeez," having to go to the hospital to get stitches. Yeah, fun times. Hillsboro was actually probably one of my favorite. I enjoyed it a lot, because I actually had a lot of friends over there. They accepted me. They knew I had disabilities. It was weird. And then Sandy actually was really where I got accepted for a while. Well, that's like 2 chapters from now. We'll get to that later. So Hillsboro was awkward, especially moving there in 1999, because it was near the millennium. Things were about to change. Everybody was acting weird because they thought the fucking world was going to end. Oh my gosh, what do? We grab the toilet paper and freak out. No. Things weren't, it wasn't that time yet. Can't honestly remember who came up with that conspiracy, honestly, but Y2J, it was just, it's so stupid. It was so dumb. I remember watching this on TV. I think it was actually the first time I learned to cuss, because it got me angry enough that I wanted to say something. I was like, "Mom, what the hell is this?" And she's like, "You watch your mouth." She's like, "It's the news." And she misconcepted what I said kind of like all the time now, ever since I've been growing up till now. Love you, Mom. Just kidding. But seriously. So, yeah, we had cats. I forgot to mention that I had a dog named Franny, rest in peace, and a Dusty, rest in peace. Dusty passed along from my sister when I was about, I think, 6. My sister was 5 at the time. Yeah, brought them to Oregon. From what I heard, they didn't really enjoy it too much. As a matter of fact, I remember quite specifically one of the cats peeing, and then my mom complaining about it because she had to sit in a thing of pus. I don't remember what it was, a thing of piss or something. I don't remember. I don't remember the whole story of what went down with that. But yeah, it was really long trip. Man, dude, there were so many stops. So many areas that we had to go through California at one point. I went to my aunt Lucille's house. I left that out. We used to go visit from Arizona up to California to go see her during the Thanksgivings. That went on from like 1994 to 97, and then it kind of just stopped after like 2000. Then I started seeing my grandma and grandpa in Corbett for the first time when I lived in Hillsboro. For some reason, I had this weird, I don't know, but it kind of was accurate because it was. I had some fantasy that in my mind, the city Corbett, or the country or town Corbett, you know, where Troutdale is, all that area was close to Hillsboro, and I could see it from a distance. And I was like, I kept picturing this, and I was like, what the hell's going on with me? My dad had a friend too. Oh man, this got awkward. Oh. I don't mean to talk shit here, but this got a little weird. This might be where my trauma kind of went into play. So my dad had a friend in Hillsboro. Gosh, this is probably why I started acting out. So fucking embarrassing and so fucking wrong in so many ways. My dad had this friend of his that they worked together, and he had this son that would come over every once in a while. Talk about that song a little bit off. I'm not trying to judge, man, but when your son's leaving the door wide open and you're in your own, and I'm obviously live in my own house, so I go into my parents' bathroom to piss every once in a while because my sister's in there. Well, had one of those encounters. Walked in, went in there, around bed, walked in the bathroom, opened the door. Oh, sorry. Oh, no, it's okay. You can come in. What the fuck? Say what? I'm hearing this at 6 years old. This might have been I don't know. This kid might have been gay. Who knows? Kids show signs like that at some early ages like that. You'd be surprised, guys. Awkward as hell. This kid became quite obsessed with me. He started coming over and visiting a lot more. This started happening. That happened twice. Because he did that twice to me, and it was awkward. Beyond awkward. I remember one time that we would sit there and drink juice, and there was like, the bottle was half empty. I don't know how he did this, but it was creepy as hell. The bottle would be half empty, and he'd fill it up. Like, to a little bit. And then he would drink it again, and then he'd fill it up. It was, I don't know. It was fucking weird. I remember that because we were sitting in my dad's black Ford Ranger at the time when that truck was pretty popular, and we were sitting there coming back, and that's when I was like, what the hell, dude? And I was like, dude, how did you do that? And he's like, I don't know, let me show you. And then he would fill it up, and he'd drink out of it. He wouldn't let me drink out of it for some reason, but he would do it. And I'd be like, that's cool. And he'd be like, yeah. And then he would let me do it, and then I wouldn't be able to do it, and then he did it. It was awkward, dude. And then after that, and this isn't the first time, I had met this kid in Arizona. The first time I had met this fool and his dad was in Arizona. My dad, I guess, knew them very well. They came and met us somewhere in some town outside of Arizona. It got really awkward. I don't know, man. It's just, I feel like somewhere and some along the line, that fool's still stalking me probably till this day, driving around. Probably knows what I look like. Probably seen where I live. Fuck, man. Oh! Yeah. Anyway, who knows? Maybe. I mean, it was just a really awkward situation, and I think the reason My dad didn't allow them over no more because he started noticing it. So did my mom. It got really awkward. Yeah. Then after that ended. Started hanging out with people outside the neighborhood. This, man, oh, talk about the definition of nightmares, but they are so hot now. I've seen them on Facebook. Wow, dude, I wish I would have dated one of them when I was like their age, because we were both the same age, dude. They were fucking pretty, dude, now. Wow. One of them has a kid, actually, and is married. Lizzie and Tori. Oh, if they ever watch this video, I'm not trying to offend you guys. I'm sorry. You guys are absolutely beautiful, though. I never, even when you guys were kids and I was a kid, I always thought you guys were gorgeous looking. As a kid saying that, I had a girlfriend at that time, too. Yeah, this is kind of where things, yeah, awkward. Hillsboro was a really awkward place for me at the same time, but it was fun. Lizzie and Tori, I don't know. That was my sister's duo over there. She always hung out over there, dude, and I got jealous, so I come over one day, went and knocked on the door. Is my sister there? What? No, she's not here. They're jumping on the trampoline in the backyard. Go home. Wow, all right. Not like my sister's friends hadn't been like that. I mean, my sister acts like that still till me till this day, but love you too. Anyway, and she clearly saw it. She was like, gosh, we were like, I think we were like 6 or 7. I was going on 8 at the time. No, I was going on 7. My sister was turning 6. Yeah, that was an awkward situation. Then my brother met Wesley and Laura up the road. Laura was, I don't know. My sister claims that Laura has a kid now and that Laura still talks about me and that she talked to Laura. I don't think so. Dude, it's been 12, 14, 15 years back then, and it was 2014, and I was still trying to figure that out. I'm still trying to figure that out till this fucking day. Yeah, in 2014, I'd heard about this because my sister had brought something up, and I was like, well, and I hadn't heard anything. I'll get to this, but I will get to the beginning of where it started off. So, and I'd met them in 1999 to 2000. Actually, it was the year 2000. We started hanging out. We'd hung out for 3 years. I had lived in that neighborhood for about 5 years, or 4 almost. Then we had left and went to Boring, but we'll get to that later. Man, I've been really around. So, I don't like talking about this, but I still have nightmares about this because the way it went out. I had dated this girl that, in Hillsboro, I was in 4th grade at the time, so it was kind of getting to that point, you know. Kids were getting curious. Yeah, I have some confessions that I want to talk about because my parents don't know this and I probably should tell them. I didn't have sex then, but I definitely did oral. And I was in 4th grade, guys. I was 8 years old, and this girl, man, dude, she obviously was getting, obviously had her period around that time and everything. I'm not trying to get all personal, but yeah, she was getting all exploratizing. And started out from ladybugs, from that to kid, and then it got weirder. Then, this was 3rd grade, because I was there from 3rd grade to 4th. And then 4th grade, this was 3rd grade this happened. 4th grade, this is where it really got awkward. She came back. I feel really bad, because I had said some stuff, and I was a kid. Even though I was a kid, I shouldn't have said this. And it was very hurtful, and I think about it now, and it may be the reason why I have so many problems. Maybe it's karma. I had told her that she was fat, and I asked her what had happened to her because she was gone for so long. And dude, you just don't say that to somebody, man. You just don't fucking say that to somebody. And I've had this hidden for so long because I've been so ashamed of it. And she didn't ever want to talk to me after that again. Oh yeah. Oh dude, she avoided me so much. I tried to talk to her and she'd walk down the hallway and disappear off. She actually got a boyfriend after that. Because she was going into middle school. I don't know. I hope her the best. I mean, I didn't mean to hurt her. She's a very pretty girl, dude. But at the same time, like I said, probably married and has kids by now, just like every other fucking girl that I know. Anyway, I'm just kidding. That's laugh, man. No, seriously, it is though. Getting annoyed at this burrito, man. It keeps coming apart. So, yeah, back in that time, I was allowed to be restrained too, and I got restrained by a teacher. This happened after I left Minter Bridge. Minter Bridge was an elementary school that was across the railroad tracks. These railroad tracks that eventually went into Tigard from Beaverton. Yeah, they would come in from Newburgh. They tied into the connection. We used to be able to take a shortcut through Hillsborough out to Newburgh. I don't know how my mom did it because she had this friend named Joyce that lived out there at the time. Pretty cool kids. They just kind of kept to themselves, didn't really say much. They had moved somewhere else after a while. Had around the time we had moved back to Newburgh in 2015. I'd say about 17 years later. Yeah. Really been around, man. Oh, wow. Yeah. So I've been in Sandy. I've been in a lot of towns, dude. Hillsborough was awkward. I don't know. After that, I'd stopped talking to her, and my brother and sister were going to Ladd Acres at the time. It was a totally different elementary schools. Do remind you, there was like 3 elementary schools in that same area of Hillsborough, in between Cornelius Pass Road and going towards the library, towards downtown Hillsborough, and it was weird. So, Western Union was where I'd met her. That school's still there. It's just a train track had gotten taken out. There used to be a train track and a bridge that would go across, and they'd removed that in like 2004 or 3, I think it was. Started removing it. They'd built a baseball field there and a football field for college. I remember seeing the game there a year after the football stadium was built. It was pretty cool. Yeah. So I had met Wesley and Laura. I'm going to get to that. So they were cool. This is around the time that Pokemon became very famous. If you guys remember Pokemon. Yeah. We're not even going to go there. I literally collected every single Pokemon you can think of. Almost. It was really popular. We'd go around the neighborhood, dude. We had so many people doing it. There was over 50, 60 kids in the neighborhood trading cards, dude. And we would be going from place, staying at other people's houses, playing video games. Yeah, childhood thing that should have happened. Then moved away from that. That's when shit kind of went downhill. Yeah, that's kind of where my anti-socialness went into play. I just kind of became silent because of how people, presented themselves towards me. It's like, what the fuck happened, dude? Seems like every year people get more and more aggressive. People's lifestyles and, attitudes change. So what happened was, I don't know. We decided to move because my mom wanted to move out to Boring, to the country area. So we did. Yeah. Laura and Wesley and them had problems not accepting the fact that we had left, and they'd wanted to come back and visit a couple of times. My sister wasn't very accepting of it at the time, and they had showed up one day, and Heather had already moved on and had a friend over. It became real problems because they became issues and enemies for a while, and then they all became friends. It's kind of where my sister had met Cassandra. Yes, and several other people in the neighborhood. There was a lot of people. This was a girl that I had and my sister had went to elementary school with me, and my sister both went to the same school. Her best friend also was Sarah Edmond. I had spent 2 years in special ed with her. she mainstreamed out. I didn't. Pretty sad. Whatever. I'm still waiting for the retard comments to come because they always do. People are not very nice these days, so of course they're going to judge. Not surprised. Yeah. I didn't have a very pleasant time growing up with that. We had somebody named Ty that had lived in the neighborhood that my brother had met through Cassandra and my sister. Cassandra was my sister's best friend, and they still are. She has a baby now. It's like half of my sister's friends. Actually, probably all of them. There is just this disability that won't let me have that type of normal lifestyle. I don't know. I can't explain it. So, dying alone may be one of those scenarios. Oh well. Anyway, so here's where that came into play. Yeah, I didn't have a great time with that because my sister and her friends kind of gotten really not so... I don't want to talk about it because it was elementary school and it haunts me for life, but my sister had taken some photos and things had gotten really awkward around there. I'm not going to talk about it on here out of respect because I'm pretty sure I'm friends with people on YouTube on here that are probably some of my sister's friends, including my sister's on here, so you could probably be watching this video. I don't know. Boring was just, I didn't like it. I got treated like shit, honestly. That's the absolute truth. I got treated like shit. The only person that was really down to earth and there for me was Ty. And I try to reach out to Ty every once in a while because he is an awesome person, dude. I mean, we had our differences, but he was trying to show me that I was being a punk and that I needed to grow up at the time, and I didn't get that. His brother Travin was pretty awesome too. I really did like the Lutz family. I've never had a problem with them. They're absolutely awesome. My dad was the one that did. I don't understand what the issue was. We were kids. Yeah. So, Ty was one of those, growing up, he was funny. Oh man, he was funny as hell. We did jousting with sticks and we would put chairs in front and pretend. We'd watch that movie Knight's Tale when it came out in 2001. It was popular. During 9/11, don't remind me. Yeah, this is the year 2001. This is when we'd moved to Boring. Remember being on my TV at school, and this was after I met Ty and everybody, and watching that on TV going, hey guys, is this a History Channel thing? That's exactly what I said, and I said this at 8 years old. They're like, no, this is real. Watching the World Trade Centers collapse right in front. I walk in right as the second tower is going down. Yeah, no. That's the sight I'll never forget. Things went well over in Boring, though. We had a huge acre. My dad had so much lawn to mow, dude. He didn't know where to start. He had an area to grow garden. The house was nice, but it got torn down and built into something else. That whole area has changed now. It's not even the same looking anymore. Those of you who don't know where Boring is, it goes towards Sandy, Oregon. Sandy goes before Mount Hood, where you go into the ski bowl and everywhere, you know, towards that area. Highway 211, then you have Mount Hood Highway, of course. That's the one that went right into Sandy. Garen's Feed Store. We actually had, in Boring, it was cool. We had like this, we had this area right next to our house and we completely demolished it, cut it down. Dave McGetty was the guy's name. This guy that was kind of mean. Everybody feared him for a while. There was like, you know, the childhood talk, don't go over to that person's house because he's mean. I was like, okay, whatever. Did my own thing, cutting down trees, sticker bushes there, dragging shit out. Me and my brother, of course, doing this at 5 and 8 years old. And now my brother's actually he did stuff like that for a living, construction, logging. Funny how that happens. And he comes out. I thought he was going to be all mean, and he's like, do you guys want some of these eggs? And he was giving us eggs every once in a while, and to bake, because we were like baking stuff. We bake like blackberry pie because we had all these blackberries. That's when I discovered blackberries, and my chopping days with bushes came to an end for a while. Actually, for a long time. I actually stopped chopping bushes after that until I got older. But anyway, so what happened was, that was interesting. Then I met this guy named Dominic, this kid that lived in our neighborhood. I went to Awanas with him. His family they were rich, man. Oh my gosh, they were probably the richest family in that neighborhood, besides Ty's family. Ty had this huge yacht. That was fun. I remember going out on the Columbia River on that thing. I remember there's some weird moments. That was with Cassandra, my sister, me, and my brother Kent, and I can't remember who else. Travin was on that. That was a fun time, actually. If I remember right, I believe Ty's dad caught a fish that year. I don't remember. So long ago. I remember Travin making jokes saying we were going to get stuck on a sand barge and we were going to sink. I was so gullible back then. Fun times. Yeah, so you know what? I can't say that all my childhood was shitty, so. There's actually photos of that somewhere. I think my sister has those photos and she refuses to give them to me. I'd really like to see them, but. But, because she knows with me, I'll lose them, so. Yeah, so that was fun. Had enjoyed that area. That lasted from 2001 to 2003. Yeah, this is where shit kind of started hitting the fan. 2002 was good. Until my mom started arguing because my mom's had this theory that my dad was cheating. Yeah, we'll get to that. My dad's... I don't even want to talk about that right now, but we'll get to that. So, this great divorce happened. As my mom found out my dad was cheating, he was claiming he was going to a hunting trip when he really wasn't. And my mom had threw him out. At one point, there was actually a flower vase involved. She was screaming, "Get out, get out!" And he wouldn't, so she grabbed the vase and threw it at his head. I kind of saw the look on his face like, oh shit. He goes, "Guys, you need to go into your room. We need to have a talk." So I hear all this screaming, and it goes to the back of the bathroom. I'm coming out. All I hear is, "Help!" I'm like, what the fuck is going on in there? Then my mom comes out all angry, runs outside to go talk to the neighbors or whatever. My dad's talking about leaving and saying he doesn't know when he's going to see me again. Huh. Yeah, well, that didn't really last very long. He got custody of us about 9 years later after that, but we're still in the beginning, so I'll get into that. That probably comes in part 2. So, I will do a part 2 later in this. I gotta finish this up because I will tie the story to Sandy. And then it goes from Sandy to my aunts and then somewhere else, and yeah. Okay, so my mom and dad got into this divorce, and yeah, things really didn't go down well. My mom ended up moving out of that house. She had met this new guy named David, which ended up being my stepdad. Guy was all right until I really got to know him. You never really know who somebody really is until you really get to know who they are, until they feel comfortable enough to show their true colors. What the fuck, dude? This guy was a nutball. Excuse my language. My gosh, I didn't see this coming. Part of my, I'm telling you right now, man, I still got like probably a trauma from that. So this guy turned out to be a total fucking nightmare, which is kind of where my two little brothers come into play. David and Caleb, which I mentioned, and I don't think I've mentioned in my videos. Yes, big part of the family. Turned out nothing like that dirtball, thank God. They became more like my mom, because I hung around my mom so much. So, but at the same time, no, they're cool. So here's what happened. So, my mom actually moved on. My dad tried to work it out, or my mom and my dad tried to work it out at one point, and it didn't really happen. So my mom just kind of moved on, and my dad was like, whatever. My dad met somebody too. Kind of where the Keyser family came into play. I will talk about them later too, because that actually ties into another marriage. I had 2 marriages that I had to deal with. So much, man. There might even be a part 3. I don't even know. Let's start with my mom, because that's where I spent most of my time. And it will go on and off. So, I had lived with my mom for prior 7 years, from 2003 to 2008. Now, over these 7 fucking years of living there, it turned into it was great, but it wasn't great. My childhood there was awesome, because I met people that I still see sometimes from time to time that I grew up with over there. I needed to get my Facebook back when people stop hacking me, because I need to reach out to some of my friends that are still on there. Probably worried and thinking that I didn't want to be on Facebook because they weren't talking. No, they all have their own lives, man. We all have our own lives. We all have things we're doing. It doesn't mean that they're not going to want to. I get it. That wasn't what I was mad about. It was stuff I was going through. Anyway, so I moved into Sandy, aka Barlow Trail. Gosh, what utter living hell this turned into be, because this is where the beginning of a nightmare came. This is where I realized in society that it wasn't going to get any better, from when I was being restrained in school, from having problems growing up with all these issues. Realized that then all those experiences I put together, I realized I'm going to be dealing with people like this in society, and it's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse. So we'd moved to Sandy. I was kind of bullied on and off, and it was pathetic, dude, because I didn't really know how to. I was 16, but I was really like 12 and realistically, because of my maturity age and because of the disability and how things were going. Back then, I probably wouldn't even be able to make a video like this, because I wouldn't be able to keep it together. I remember obsessing about telling my sister, do you think I'll ever be able to get past autism? And they're like, no, it's a matter of control. Some people can control it, some people can't. I have learned to control it. I didn't think I ever would, but shit, I did. We moved to Sandy, and it was technically boring, whatever you want to call it, because it's still in the boring address. But I call it Sandy because we technically drove right into this town of Sandy. So Highway 211, Barlow Trail, blah, blah, blah. There was a power line there. It caused a lot of radiation. One of my good friends' dad had died. And it's very sad. I don't even want to talk about it, because it'll probably make me cry, because me and him go way back. Me and my brother and him, we've known each other since we were kids. So I've known Ty since he was, the first time I met Ty. We'll get to that. I'm mentioning everybody's names in here. I'm not putting their last names in here because it's disrespectful. They don't mind their first names, because nobody's going to know who that is, but last names could be a problem. I don't need to be posting anybody's identity up here. So Ty, Allie, a group of people that we had met in the Barlow Trail area, along with Michael, son of, I'm trying to remember Tim, and I think her name was Lonnie. No, not Lonnie, sorry. Jamie, and I'm trying to remember. Michael's mom's name was Jamie. I can't remember his dad's name. I think his name was Sean or Shane. I can't remember. And then they had ended up moving into Braden's. Braden was a good friend of mine. He had a stuttering problem. People used to make fun of him, and I got really tired of it, dude. It's not okay to be mocking people with disabilities, dude. That's why we got along so well. The truth is, why me and Braden got along so well is because we both had disabilities. Fuck haters, man. Seriously. It's not okay. I didn't. We got into it because other people tried to ruin our friendship and tried to sit there and I don't know. People got to him and telling this was like I was kind of like an older brother to him. I guess I was like 16 and he was like 10 at the time. So I guess people got to him and people didn't let him be him, and I guess he kind of turned against me because he thought that I was trying to sit there and that I was a shitty friend to him and that I was trying to cause problems between him and his other friendships. And I wasn't even like that at all. He probably understands that now. It was a long time ago. We didn't really talk. My mom had kind of put a bad reputation around Barlow Trail, and a lot of people didn't want anything to do with us because my stepdad was a living nightmare, dude. He literally tried to set somebody's porch on fire there. Yeah, I'm not fucking kidding, dude. This guy was whoo-hoo. Spent most of his time, I don't know, before he came and met us, I don't know. He had a lot of history with other people. Josh and Taylor. I still talk to Josh. Well, I did. I don't know anymore, but other people that came into my life, which was my mom's husband's second husband after my dad. He married this guy named David, and this guy's a dirtball. Believe me. Total alcoholic. Lived off my mom, mooched off my mom. Piece of shit. So what happened was he had a major alcoholic problem and my mom wouldn't put up with it and they got into it. There was several abuse problems that happened around that house, dude. My gosh. Everything went fine for a while and then he started showing his true colors. Started locking things up, started disciplining at wrong times when it wasn't even needed. Yelling, screaming, hollering. Throw us outside, threaten to make me sleep outside if I didn't keep my voice down. Put a freaking cup on the door with a chain in it. Freaking have it fall on the ground as an old military tactic to make sure prisoners wouldn't escape. I learned it, sick bastard. I was trying to go out to get something to eat. He had locked the refrigerator up. This guy was the definition of a nightmare. The word about it spread around my trailer park real quickly. People started to want to kick the fucking shit out of this guy, dude. It wasn't even a joke. Because he kept getting in other people's businesses. And it wasn't needed. There was an issue with my friend's dad, and there was an altercation, I guess, and he had problems because it was a son and father thing that was going on, and I guess it kind of got taken out of play, but it wasn't really like... Ty said it didn't really hurt that bad. There were some issues with his dad where they got physical and, his dad was kicking him because Ty was being kind of a bully to one of the other people, and it was just a bunch of bullshit growing up. And I guess David decided to be a hero and try to go down there and straighten it out, and it didn't go like that at all. He just came up and started confronting him and talking a bunch of shit. It's like, first of all, you don't yell from somebody else's property and start talking shit and saying you want to go, yada, 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 I could kick your ass. What do you think you're doing to your own son? When you don't even really know the whole story and you just heard a bunch of kids. That's the definition of how immature this fucking guy was. So, this guy was trying to play video games with a 12-year-old, and these kids turned out to have... I hope they turned out good. I mean, Bishop and Josiah, I ran into them a while ago. I don't know. Who knows? I usually don't talk crap about people like that, because Bishop and Josiah were not the type of people you wanted to fuck with, dude. Back then, man, I'd rather had them on my side, and they did. Had a lot of people pick on me, and they didn't tolerate it. They whooped some. I remember specifically they were going to whoop Jeff's ass, because Jeff was some other guy that I had this girl, Shelby, which actually has kids now with somebody else. I became good friends with her, and I was good friends with her cousin, Jeff, he was actually an okay guy. I just don't know. I think he didn't realize I didn't think he realized that he was playing. I think he liked, and because he's older than me, man. He was like 20 at the time, and I was only like 18, 17. No, I was like 16, and he's like 20. And I guess he didn't realize how physical he was playing and shoving my head in the snow at the time. I have a disability. I didn't like it too much. Because kind of stayed away from me after a while. We kind of got the reputation around that place wasn't so great. People started going, man, what the fuck's wrong with this family? A lot of things, man. There was so much going on, man. I had so much post-trauma from shit that was happening. I was being beat day in and day out every time I'd screw up or something. Bishop, they were not great. They had some problems that were going on with their grandma and everything, and a lot of people said that they claimed that they were carrying cats with bags. They were carrying bags with cats inside them. I never saw that. I never really actually saw proof of that. And I actually confronted them, and they said, no, dude, that's disgusting. Why would you do that? Bishop was like, we'd be the one beating the fucking shit out of somebody who did that to our cat, man. Because they had a cat, apparently, and I remember it. So I was like, it couldn't have been them. And I'm thinking maybe it might have been one of the other homies that they knew around the trailer park. There was like some gangs going on around there, dude. And I'm thinking maybe they were burying this cat. I'm thinking this cat that had in a trash bag might have been one of the cats from one of their friends that died. I don't know, because that's what Bishop said. Josiah said the same thing. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's why there was a lot of accusations, man. They left the trailer park because they got tired of people criticizing them. I got in trouble from them because I had stole from one of their friends, Nick and Jonathan, and John, and then his brother Jonathan, which ended up joining the military. Thank you for your service, Jonathan, if you see this video. Yeah, he's a fucking badass. Don't fuck with him. Anyway, I've seen his training videos. Marine Corps. I think he became staff sergeant, or I think lieutenant now. I'm not sure. But Nick, I hope Nick's doing well. I haven't talked to Nick in a long time. Nick didn't like me after that because I didn't realize those plants. I thought they were free, man. I had an altercation where I had stolen plants, apparently. Didn't realize they were stolen. I thought they were free because they were sitting outside. Well, duh, dude. Somebody's obviously using them if they're sitting outside. My dumbass didn't know that at the time. Go figure. Yeah. And then they were like, you're going to take these plants out of the ground and you're going to go put them in a bucket and put them back where you fucking found them. And you could tell Nick was trying to be serious, but he was laughing at the same time under his breath. But at the same time, he wanted to beat my ass. I don't really understand what that was about. It wasn't him that wanted to. It was my stepdad. You thought, man, all the stories I told you before. I got grounded for a month because of that. What the hell, man? Talk about over-exaggerating. Anyway, yeah, that wasn't fun. I had a lot of things that I missed out in childhood. I missed out on a trick-or-treating because apparently I had ate my teacher's candy. Definition of a junk food eater, man. That's kind of why I'm sticking to this now. Anyway, so yeah, Sandy got awkward. David had gone to jail a couple of times because of abuse, and not a great person growing up. I hope he's better now. I don't wish any hatred on him, but dude, seriously, not okay. Just because you were going through problems didn't mean you had to put somebody else through it. Especially my mom, dude. She didn't deserve that. She was nothing but loyal to you, you douchebag. Anyway, so that ended because my dad had had enough and he'd heard about it. This is kind of where my dad had met Shelly, the Keyser family. They were, my dad was married to one of my good friends' moms at the time, and they had moved in together and heard about all this. And there was like a huge war at one point, because I remember Shelly had gotten involved at one point, which is Nick's mom. She's the Keyser family. Shelly had became a Carter, though. Nick, I don't know. I think he was okay with it at the time. I don't think he really gave a shit. My dad and Nick became pretty close. My dad went to Nick's wedding just recently. Yeah, so anyway, my dad had heard enough. He had gotten custody of us because of what was going on over there. I still didn't want to talk about all the details. It's not really appropriate and graphic things to be talking about on here. So, and my dad had got in custody of us, and we ended up because my dad, I don't even know how this went down. So I'm trying to remember. I need to refresh my memory. Damn it, dude. Yeah, I really can't fucking remember. So my dad, it got a divorce. Well, the first time my dad and Shelly, I guess, it got into some issues, and I had to go live out at my aunt's for a while, and my dad ended up living out there for a bit. We moved into my Aunt Edie's house, which was in Corbett. She had passed away. Stayed there for a while. Then ended up moving back. I didn't understand this. It ended up moving back. Then it ended up moving back out there again. And then after that, I went to high school out there for a while. Finished up high school at Sandy High for junior year. Then went to Milwaukee. This is where things in my life kind of sort of really didn't go so well. I'm just going to put this all, I don't know, because I know I'm leaving out several things. Yeah, things around Sandy didn't go so well. So I got custody of my dad got custody of us. We would go over to Milwaukee. There was this house that we'd stay at for a while. That whole fake ass persona, dude, that my dad put on with the whole, oh, I'm Christian, I've changed. Yeah, okay, dude. No, dude, if you're going to be Christian, you can't just sit there and act like you can't fake that. That's so not okay. Yeah, so we ended up going out there. Like I said, I got in custody. My dad had got custody of us. But before we'd moved to Milwaukee, I was staying at my aunt's for a while. That was fun because I had a lot of freedom up there. My brother was going to Boring Middle at the time. We'd get a ride in with my uncle. He's boss for NEI at the time, but he's like COO now. But he was driving us to work. He'd be driving himself to work on the way, and our schools would be on the way in, and he'd drop us off. Just at one point, he totally pranked us, and I'll never forget this, because sometimes the school would be closed because of snow or shit. He pranked us saying we had no school, turned all the way and drove all the way back almost home, and then said, no, you really do have school. And then coming all the way back, I'll never forget how pissed off my sister was. I'm late. I'm going to be late for school now. Darn it, Uncle Jeff. Oh, it was great. Back before people had to worry about 6 feet, before people came psycho and started shooting each other, before Satan started taking full possession of our world. Now, back to what I was talking about. Most people don't get, if you read prophecy, you'd get what I meant by that. David did have good taste in music, though. It's kind of where Iron Maiden and all these other bands. I've talked about this in my videos, so I'm not going to explain much there, but I grew up with a bunch of heavy metal bands that I still stick with me. Like I said, I was into Led Zeppelin at that time. Been listening to Iron Maiden because he'd blare that so loud, dude. You could hear it from the... Yeah, I said it in one of my videos. He'd blare that so loud, dude. We get noise complaints sometimes because he didn't care. He'd blare it so loud you could actually hear it. Okay, there's this huge field in a park, and you could hear it all the way from the end of the field. And I was just like, holy crap. He would yell in, lunchtime! And we had these, I forgot to talk about those two, Josh and Taylor. They would come over every once on a weekend to come visit. They stopped coming over because of what a psychopath David turned in. He ended up abusing them too, and he didn't even have full custody of them. It's like how this fool didn't end up in jail was even my, honest, besides myself. But anyway, yeah, that was, all that just went downhill. Back to where everything ended. My mom had lost custody of us, and we had moved to, I was 17 at the time. My sister was 16, my brother was 13. We had moved over to like I said, that's around the time that Nickelback's All the Right Reasons was getting real popular. Three Doors Down and Daughtry and all that. Led Zeppelin. Yeah, that's a big era for me. Green Day. Holy shit, dude. Maroon 5. Pink Floyd. Aerosmith. AC/DC. Yeah. All that abuse had went away, but I was still having problems coping with it because I didn't know how to deal with it. I was moving to a new city with nobody that I knew. Oh, man. This is where it gets a little awkward. This part of the story. But I'm going to have to... I will leave off at this because it goes from Milwaukee High School and goes from there. I'm not going to... I end up going to Milwaukee, but I will talk about that in part 2 of my video because I have to talk about what went on in Milwaukee because I went from living in Milwaukee house to moving out of Milwaukee house, living on my own, went back from living on my own to ending up to where I am now. So, like I said, beginning to end. So, I'm done with this part of the video, guys. I will make a part 2 probably tomorrow for those. You guys have heard most of my life story now. So, anyway. Take it easy and have a wonderful night, everyone. And yeah, stay safe.